Evening, everybody. It's 6:30, and this is your closing comment, the last one of the week on this Thursday afternoon, the 18th of May. Video number 1760. Today was a particularly strange day in that we had stocks moving in opposite directions with basically the same news. Um, And so, that put a little bit of pressure on the market, as did the Philly Fed number, which came in stronger. That is down half of what was expected and down by two-thirds versus last month. Also, a highlight was the claims numbers. Initial claims 242,000 versus a 250,000 estimate, and continuing claims just under 1.8 million. That was down 8,000, and well below, still above the 172 number that was expected. Um, and those continuing claims, the most recent, in other words, week over week, was, like I said, just under 1.8% versus 1.813% last week. We also had existing home sales and LEI. Existing home sales were slightly lower, but nobody's really talking about that because the main impetus for that is lack of supply and the fact that there are plenty of people who would have to give up mortgages and get new mortgages at roughly 100% higher than what they already have because of refinancings. LEI, leading economic indicators, down 0.6% versus 0.5% estimate, and also versus 1.2% from last month. As far as stocks go, the standout clearly, and it was very supportive of the Nasdaq, was Netflix on the increase of 5 million subscribers added on the ad supported um, option. And I mention that because a couple of months ago, when they first announced that, they also announced, and I guess nobody was really talking about it. I know I did a video on it, but they actually make more money on the ad supported subscription. It costs less, but they also increase the cash flow on the basis of ad revenues that get added in. In any event, the stock closed 371.29, and that was up 31.33 or 9.2%. Walmart reported it was up, it was down. It actually closed a little closer to the low than the high at 151.27, up $1.74 or just 1%. Target was kind of interesting because they reported, and the stock actually went from pre-opening down, this was yesterday, pre-opening down to closing slightly higher, and today it gave it all back. 154.40 down 656. And Palantir, PLTR, 1172 up $1.46 or 14% on the strength of the fact that Kathy Wood's ARK fund took a position in the stock. Up 14 and a quarter percent, pretty stout. Ross Stores was a miss on revenue and a beat on profits. I know that you're tired of hearing it, But the fact is, they can screw around with the earnings bottom line, but they cannot fake revenues. So when I see a stock up with revenues down, I'm a little less impressed. Um, Stock had a range of 108 to 105. Pardon me, 108, yeah, 108 to a close of 105, up $2.21 or 1%. And I can't tell you how pleased I am that earnings season is finally coming to an end. Tomorrow, pre open, we have Deere, Footlocker, CTLT, Catalent, and not for nothing, but Catalent extended their reporting period not once, but twice. So I'm going to have a hard time expecting anything but downside in that one. Also, just one more reason why I don't trade Chinese stocks. Alibaba with the big gain on their numbers, and the stock moving in the opposite direction. 86 down 464 or 5.1%. We finally caught a little bit of a break in the energy side, and while the oil gave up 95 cents of its almost $2 move yesterday, nat gas, which I've written about every week, and this week's charts with comments in the weekly letter said that nat gas is losing its momentum to the downside. Today it closed 271, up 21 cents. So a great recovery there. Now let's see if there's any follow through. Another interesting mention was interest rates. The 210, it's been hovering between 48 and 52. Um, and today, the change in the rates on all of that other news, the 2 year, just trying to remember now, the 2 year rose 11 basis points, and the 10-year rose only 7. So currently we're back at 50, 53 negative. So also there was one Fed speaker today who is a voting member of the FOMC, saying that on the basis of what she's seeing, that it really, the current data does not yet support a pause in June. So we could be in for another 25. And of course, that puts us just a little bit further in the hole for those who think that we're going to have cut in rates this year. All right, everyone. I'll be back first thing in the morning. Hope you had a good day. Oh, we added a position in WEAT calls. We went out a little bit further. That's the Wheat ETF. And there is the smallest, and this is thanks to Dennis, who gave me this information. There is the smallest carryover of the crop and massive shortages. It didn't work so well for the corn, but the wheat technically is stronger. I actually have a chart that shows that this is only the third time in recent history where the wheat is outside the lower Bollinger Band, something that doesn't happen very often, and there is generally a snapback. I'll be back first thing in the morning.